Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, our mission is pretty clear. We're not just going to talk about large language models. We're going to build the operational playbook. We've looked at all the sources on tools like, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, and we're extracting the actual strategic steps you need to take right now.
And there's a real sense of urgency here. I mean, most people get the basic idea, right? LLMs are these huge models trained on tons of data to understand language. But the enterprise market is moving so fast that just being aware of them, well, it's not enough anymore.
You're getting close.
If you aren't strategic about how you roll them out, you're frankly just wasting cycles.
That's the exact shift we saw in the material. It's moving beyond the why. Because sure, they enhance creativity, they automate boring tasks, but the studies we looked at put a number on it that should really make you sit up and listen. We are talking potential productivity gains between 25 and 40% for individuals.
Which is just a massive number. And a lift like that doesn't happen by accident.
No.
Absolutely not. And for a business, that competitive edge is incredibly sharp. We're not just talking about saving money.
Right.
We're talking about next-level customer personalization. We're talking about slashing product development times, all because you have these deeper, real-time insights.
So what's the roadblock? The sources kept pointing to the same things.
Poor implementation and, honestly, resistance to adoption. People don't know how to use them properly.
Which brings us right back to our mission, building that strategic playbook. This isn't just about writing a better prompt. The sources were clear. It has to be a structured framework. And it seems to have three main pillars. So let's start with the first one, task formulation.
Yeah, and this was fascinating. Task formulation is about defining the AI's role before you even ask it to do anything.
What does that mean in practice?
So instead of just saying, summarize Q3 results, you establish a persona. You tell it, act as a meticulous financial analyst reviewing Q3 results for potential risk factors.
I see.
That little bit of upfront context just,
Oh,
it radically changes the quality of the output.
that makes a huge difference. Okay, so pillar 2 is model selection. I think a lot of people would ask, aren't they all just big language models? Why does it matter which one I pick?
Well, they really aren't all the same. The sources point to a really crucial trade-off. Are you going for a huge general-purpose foundation model, like a Gemini, for that broad creative power?
Okay.
Or do you need a smaller, fine-tuned model that's super specific and accurate for an internal task, say, in your legal department? Getting that choice right affects your efficiency and, your budget.
Right, the cost.
Yeah.
So let's unpack that third pillar, prompt engineering. We hear that term everywhere. What does the playbook demand here that's different?
It demands moving beyond just simple instructions. It's about really understanding things like the context window and how to constrain the output. For instance, knowing the difference between zero-shot prompting, just asking a question cold, and few-shot prompting.
Which is where you give it examples first.
Exactly. You give it 3 good examples of the output you want. The playbook basically says, for any high-stakes analysis, you have to use few-shot prompting. It dramatically cuts the risk of the model, hallucinating or making things up.
So if individuals adopt this kind of structured approach, what does that mean for the bigger picture?
Well, if we zoom out a bit, the sources suggest that widespread AI literacy becomes critical.
As fundamental as digital literacy is today.
You got it. For our kids, for the entire workforce, a high level of AI literacy leads directly to a more competitive, more innovative nation.
But they have to come with some guardrails, right?
Yeah.
The ethical side of this was a huge focus.
A huge focus. Leaders have to put frameworks in place for transparency, for fairness, and this is the big one, for data privacy.
Especially with internal data.
Especially then. You have to ensure that this incredible tech advancement is managed responsibly.
So I think the final takeaway is pretty undeniable. Embracing tools like Copilot and Gemini isn't really an option anymore for high performance. It's a strategic imperative, and it needs a real plan.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to take away. If the sources are right and a structured playbook is the difference between a tiny 5% gain and a truly transformative 40% gain, here's what we want you to consider this week. Just focus on that one pillar, task formulation. What is the single most important task you do, and what specific persona could you give an AI to help you do it not just faster, but better?